Alright, so we're working on a Cummins X15 that's 2017 to 2025. That's the 15-litre engine that they're using right now, and it's the turbo actuator that we're working on. So we've got a bench set up here with a turbo and an actuator. We're going to take you through the install and calibrate process. When you hook up Cummins Insight, and you're going to go, it'll connect to the ECM. You're going to go to ECM diagnostics tests. Then at the bottom you're going to see VGT. So your VGT hysteresis, that's just the test for the actuator to test the nozzle ring. All that's going to do is move the nozzle ring to 100% and back to 0. And then we've got install and calibrate. Here we're going to click next. It's telling us that this isn't a function test, this is an install and calibrate test. We're going to go to the drop down and select install actuator, and it's going to say the actuator needs to be removed from the turbo. So we got to take it off. So that's taken off. I didn't unplug it. It's still powered up, it's still connected. So we've now unbolted it, and what it's going to do is we're going to say okay and then start, and it's going to ask me, did you take it off? I'm going to say yes, I did take it off. What it's then going to do is it's going to send a message to the actuator to tell it to move to the 0 position. Now the actuator is in the 0 position, that is passed. Our next step is to calibrate. So now we're going to calibrate the actuator, and it's going to say the actuator must be mounted to the turbo. So, okay, let's mount it to the turbo. Always make sure that this sector shaft is in the right position. It should be towards the hot side, and there's a dowel hole down in there to indicate that's the correct position. Make sure this surface is clean so that these O-rings may have a good seal against that, because the coolant flows through the turbo and then out through the actuator. Make sure that this is in place, and I'm all bolted up. Now the actuator is bolted on, it's in place, we can carry out the calibrate procedure. So we can continue, click start, and it's going to ask me, did you bolt it on to the turbo? Yes, we did. When we click OK, it's going to send a message to the actuator and ask it to move the nozzle ring to find the start and stop positions. And then that will be the 0 to 100% span for that actuator. Now that that's completed, the memory for that span is in the actuator. It's not stored in the truck, it's stored in the actuator. So if we unplug that and plug it back in again, that memory's still in there. If we take this actuator off and go put it on another truck, the memory is still in there. It's still calibrated, and as long as you keep your sector shaft in the correct position, then that's where that will always go back to. And once that's complete, if you have any active codes regarding the actuator, they'll go inactive, you can clear them, and you're ready to get back to work.